This is Musical Talk, your podcast for musical theater. Here are your hosts, Nick Hudson and Andrew Edwards.
We're into double figures.
Oh yes, number 10.
Our 10th episode. Wow.
Double figures. That's really exciting, isn't it?
It's very exciting. Wait till we get into triple figures.
Oh yeah, right.
In like 8 years' time.
Yeah.
When you've done 19 tours and won the lottery.
Oh, don't.
We're very excited in Europe because we have a £120 million lotto.
They reckon it's going to be
tonight.
130 by the... Oh, it's tomorrow night. And yeah, by the time everyone's gone mad, it's 120 million. They reckon it's going to be about 130. I bought a ticket. I can't help it. It's awful, isn't it?
£1.30.
£1.50.
Oh, £1.50.
For a lottery ticket, there is no chance of winning.
What a waste of money.
Well,
Well,
they're
there is a chance in winning.
Oh, about
It's
1
a-
in 50 billion. Well,
Yeah.
it's like 7 numbers, isn't it? It's even one more number than the lottery you normally have.
We have an in-studio guest, ladies and gentlemen, and if you go onto our website, you'll see pictures of Andy with our on-studio guest. And,
Yeah, he's quite quiet today.
He's very sweet.
I think he's gone to sleep. Oh no, he's up. Hello. Lovely. You. Oh, he's gorgeous.
Adorable. So today we're going to have an interview with a wonderful man who sort of inspired me to do a podcast. Is Mr. Mike Collins from coasterradio.com, which we talked about in other shows.
Yes.
About the integration of theme parks and musicals. Well, not musicals, but theme parks and theatre. We were able to talk about this for 20 minutes.
Wow.
When we did the interview, so there is a lot to say. Andy doesn't know much about the topic, so we're going to let him hear the interview for the first time.
Cool.
And then we'll discuss it further. We're also going to talk about The Sound of Music, starring Connie Fisher, the winner of How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, which has opened recently, getting very, very good reviews.
It is, yeah. Especially the little girl that plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever her name is. I don't know. Kurt Lisa. I can't really remember. the little tiny one, little 7-year-old. She's getting absolutely amazing reviews. But there must be more than one of them. Must be like quite a few. But I think the one that played it on the opening night, the little girl. I read in the Metro. I read the review in the Metro. It's very good.
What did it say?
And I read the review. Had the reviews for all the different papers in the Metro. So I had the Mail, the Telegraph, and everything. And they all said it was really good. The only criticism I heard was Connie used her arms too much. She tried to come up because it's such a big theatre. I think she tried to make expressions too much with her arms. But then once she settled down, she did quite well. She's no Julie Andrews, but she's a good amateur.
It's the same with Mary Poppins. No one expects Julie Andrews, but they expect someone fresh to take a new look at the role. And
then also they said that the guy who's just stepped in to play Captain Von Trapp, that he had 2 previews to get himself into the opening night, and apparently he's not great. That's what I heard. But I mean, don't know.
of course, you can't. Did you mention this on the show last week that the actor playing Captain Von Trapp was?
He left. Yeah.
And I think it's a very tall task for the actor to come in.
He just came straight in and do it. So he'll probably get better once he's had a few goes at it. Like anything.
And I read that it takes on stage a while for the chemistry to appear between Maria and Captain Von Trapp on stage. Maria, that's her name, isn't it?
Maria, yeah.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? And we're also going to be talking about a new singing technique that Andy was telling me about earlier.
It's not new.
Well, it's new for you, so...
It's not... Oh, not really.
It's new for me, because I never heard of it.
You've never heard of it, yeah.
Called the Stills technique?
A still technique.
A still technique. And we're also going to be talking about I saw Cabaret on Wednesday night at the Lyric Theatre in Theatreland. That's great, isn't it? Theatreland. Sounds like a theme park.
It even says it on like on the signs to the roads, doesn't it? Like Garrick Street.
The London Borough of Theatreland.
Yeah, it's great. It's like on the street names.
And we're going to completely off the topic here, but I think it's nice that we have sort of off chat. We're going to talk about Borat.
We went to see it, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Andy has quite a loud laugh, ladies and gentlemen. And needless to say, I was quite embarrassed sitting next to Andy in the cinema. Him with
I actually checked myself at one point.
Him with Fanta coming out of his nose and things.
Right. Did you have to say that?
Well, it was true. So on to the interview with Mike Collins. This is Mike Collins from coasterradio.com. Thank you very much, Mike, for taking the time to talk to us today about a very interesting topic for both of us, really.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Nick. It's great to be on another podcast, because usually I'm the one doing the interviewing, but it's great to, be kicking back here with a nice drink in my hand, relaxing, and talking with you and letting you ask the questions.
It must be very, very strange for you to sort of be in this situation.
Yeah, because I thought, once we started up Coaster Radio and, being one of the hosts of it, I thought that would make me rich and famous, and I'd get interviewed all the time, but this is actually the first interview I've done, so I'm excited about this. This is fun for me.
So, yes, blending of theme parks and musical, well, not musical, but theatre. Do you agree that there is a link?
I think so. I think that the best theme parks in the world are very theatrical. Back when there were just such things as amusement parks where it was just, flat ground.
Like kiddie rides and things.
Yeah, just rides and stuff like that. Eventually, people like Walt Disney came along and said, we could do a lot better than this. Why don't we have themed lands where there are stories around every corner?
Yeah.
Not only in the attractions, but, even in the different shops that you walk in and the different restaurants and things like that. So I think there's a definite link.
Now, you're a musical theatre man yourself. You played Vince Fontaine in Grease when you were young.
Oh, yes, I did.
Why don't you give us some of that?
Vince Fontaine, the main brain on WAXX now.
From the racks to the stacks to the best on wax. But one of the best parts of that is one of my best friends was playing Marty in that show. And there's a scene, of course, anybody who's seen Grease the musical knows that Vince Fontaine gets to have sort of a loving makeout scene with her. And so that was one of the best things. It was a friend, but it was very weird to be in that type of situation.
Fans of Coaster Radio, of which are probably listening to this show, know that your wife, Molly, was actually involved in the theme parks. But what they may not know is that she is a musical theatre fan like yourself, and she's also a music teacher.
That's right.
So were you involved in any sort of early romantic roles in musical theatre that got you two together?
Oh, yeah. When we were in high school together, we were in, the different show choirs where we do all different types of music, from rock and roll to, musical theater styles. So
Cool.
We'd always get paired up and would be, dance partners and singing partners and things like that. So I think that's where, some of that early romantic stuff started.
I think I heard through the grapevine you were also in The Music Man.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was actually in, anybody who's seen that knows the school board barbershop quartet.
Oh, yes.
And the best part about that is I got to be in that with three of my best friends who were, we were all in an a cappella group at the time in high school.
Why don't you give us a little bit of Pick a Little, Talk a Little?
Oh, I wish I could, but I'd need the other three guys to do that. I think that would be...
It's very fast, that song, isn't it?
But, it goes quickly. But that was such a fun time, and that's a great musical because it's a huge cast, and you have, just a lot of fun with that.
I've been a long-time fan of Coaster Radio, and listeners of my podcast know that I wrote a musical for you guys called, you tell us about Coaster Boy.
Oh, well, anybody who has not had a chance to hear this yet, you need to go to Nick's website and check it out. There's a link to it on our website, too. But actually, there should be one right off of your website, right, Nick?
Yeah.
And basically, we had a character on CoasterRadio.com named Coaster Boy. And for anybody who knows about the amusement enthusiast arena, there are certain guys who maybe take it a little bit too seriously. Roller coasters and theme parks are supposed to be fun, right? But there are a couple people out there who just take it a little too seriously and get upset when people are wrong about things. And on the show, we called those Coaster Boys. They would talk with a little bit of a geeky accent, I guess.
I'm Coaster Boy,
Yes, that is exactly. See, and you do it perfectly there. That's it. But Nick was kind enough to write a musical about Coaster Boy because on our show once we talked about, how great would it be if somebody wrote a musical about Coaster Boy in the style of Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said that on the show, just kind of tossing it off one day. And,
yeah.
And Nick heard that out there all the way across the ocean in London and wrote a fantastic 25-minute musical, which we love and we still talk about today, even though that was months ago. But it's still something that we all of the hosts talk about in our private lives. It was so great.
Well, that's very gratifying to know. So on to our main topic of discussion, Mike. You obviously know a lot about musicals. You know a lot about theme parks. Obviously we've come to the decision that there is a link. Do you think Disney really set up the link?
I think so, because when you look back at all of the animated features that Disney did, going from Snow White all the way to today, they all have music in it. Music is the driving force of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as Walt Disney and his Imagineers started to create theme park attractions, they really wanted, number one, to have the storyline be the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I think also they wanted to have music be, the device that they use to tell those stories. And you can, any Disney attraction that you go in today, from Pirates of the Caribbean, there's that famous song that probably everybody knows, yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Which I quoted in Coaster Boy.
That's right, that is in there too. That's wonderful. But that is the song that drives that attraction all the way through. You can look at an attraction like Splash Mountain, which takes the songs from the animated and live-action film Song of the South.
Yeah.
That that basically is a great example of musical theater, I think.
Yeah.
Because not only are you getting a great story, but you're actually, sitting in a log, moving through a river, moving through sets.
You're getting a story told through song, which is what musical theater is.
Oh, yeah. And I think, when you think about what makes a great musical theater show, well, of course, it's the story. You want to sit there and, be entertained by a story that moves you and makes you laugh. But it's also the music. I think, you want to tap your feet. You want to have songs that make you feel different emotions.
Make you want to come back and hear the songs again.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go out and buy the soundtrack, because they're those songs that you'd like to hear over and over and maybe even sing along with. Or, so, and we've all, I'm sure, seen shows where maybe the storyline is good and the music is bad and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great musical theater production and a great theme park attraction that can have both.
And now Disney, they're forerunners in the West End and Broadway for their own stage musicals. But interesting enough, their sort of incarnations of these musicals actually appeared in the theme parks.
Oh, yeah. One thing I was checking out in preparation for our talk tonight was that Beauty and the Beast, the live-on-stage version that is at the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando, actually premiered the same day that Beauty and the Beast, the theatrical movie, premiered. How great is... I had no idea. I thought maybe that the stage version came a couple years later, but they premiered on the same day. And now we know that, Beauty and the Beast has gone on to become, a major Broadway and West End hit. It's touring, all over.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And of course, they've done it with Hunchback of Notre Dame as well.
That's right.
They've done it with The Lion King.
That's another one, too.
And a very impressive thing which they did in their theme park over in California, they actually built a theater for Aladdin.
And that's one that's been getting a lot of rave reviews.
Yeah, Disney built this 2,500 seat theater, decked it out for all the marvelous special effects. I mean, in this show, the carpet lifts off the stage and flies around the whole audience. And these kids, you can imagine this sort of family coming from the depths of Utah and not really experiencing much musical theater. And then within their park ticket, they're able to experience a Broadway-style show for free, really.
Oh, yeah.
And then go, maybe we should go to New York next summer.
These are probably people who think that Phantom of the Opera actually is an opera.
Yeah.
They don't know the difference or anything.
Yeah.
So how great is it that these people can come, to maybe the vacation of their lives to a Disney park, but actually have a real, Broadway or West End musical theater experience right there at the parks. And I think we're finding that some of the high-end resorts, such as, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, even the Universal parks, are starting to bring real musical theater attractions into, their resorts, such as Wicked coming to Universal Studios in Japan. Even though it's not musical theater, also you have the Blue Man Group coming to Universal Studios Orlando, which is sort of like a musical theater experience.
Well, they're playing the West End anyway, so...
Yeah.
And you also have parades on in the theme parks. I'm not a big fan of parades. I think I prefer to go on the rides myself. But
I am with you on that because, the worst thing in the world are long lines, and they always say in those guidebooks, if you want to avoid the long lines, go at the time the parade is, because everybody, all the families and the little kids are all lined up on the parade route. That's the time probably like guys like you and me who like the thrill rides head off to those things. But I think parades, are great. While it's not necessarily a stage show, it does indeed have a story, and it usually has, complex music, especially as it's going throughout the parade, especially at Disney. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but that's some of the most complex technology used anywhere in theater.
Really?
To be able to put the music with specific floats and have all the timing correct. It's really amazing.
But it seems they also, they tell a story and they have music, but there's also choreography and there's also acting. All the characters have to act. And of course, very famously, all employees at the Disney parks, and I think Universal parks, are called cast members.
That's right. And that's something that they tell you from the very first moment you start working there. And that's not even just at the theme parks. It's any part of the Disney organization. You were a cast member.
Yeah.
I even worked at one of the Disney stores here in the Washington, D.C. area, and, I thought I would just be, like, selling Mickey Mouse dolls and DVDs and things like that, but no, they said you were a cast member just like the cast members at the Walt Disney World Resort, because they really, in fact, it's funny, like, when you work in the back in the stockroom, they call that backstage.
Right.
You work, out with the cash register, that's on stage. So really, it really is like a theatrical production, and that's what they want you to remember. And even other theme park chains are starting to pick that up. Universal calls their people cast members, and there are other theme park chains all around that say, you are not an employee, you're not just a part-timer, you were a cast member of our show. And I think that's something we're going to see a lot more of. I think everybody wants to aim at being like Disney and like Universal.
Yeah.
And it does cost a lot of money and it costs a lot of resources to do that. But I think you're starting to see even places like Six Flags, who Mark Shapiro actually used to work. He's the new CEO of Six Flags. He used to work for the Walt Disney Company. So I think you're even seeing him starting to change a few things to be a little bit more like Disney. And I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing more attractions that had, more in-depth storylines and even some of the music like we've been talking about today.
Of course, there's a very famous Disney composer called Alan Menken. He's now been employed by Disney Imagineering to score a new ride in Tokyo, which proves that Disney are now interested in using musical theatre composers to tell their stories.
Those are some of the best storytellers that we have today. They're musical poets, basically. And, those, I like that Disney is using people with a proven track record. You're right, Alan Menken has written, some of the greatest, things that we have. Like one of my favorites is Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, that's brilliant.
A CD that I've already put onto my iPod to take around and stuff. So I like that they're still, using, composers like that for a theme park attraction.
Of course, the Sherman Brothers were sort of the pre-Menken big hit. They've written more songs for theme parks than any other composer in the world, but they've also written a lot of the Disney musicals like Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, but they've also written It's a Small World. Whether you like them for that is another question. They've also written the Enchanted Tiki Room.
That's right.
It proves that Disney is still interested in blending musical theatre into their parks.
When you think that they've been doing it for, all those years, how long ago was Mary Poppins and the Tiki Room, but there's, it's a tradition that lives on today.
And they're still doing it. And we also have attractions at Universal like Terminator, where they're now beginning to blend actors with 3D film.
Oh, yeah, and that's those are my favorite attractions, the ones where they have a live human being actually, as part of the attraction. Disney, of course, pioneered audio animatronics.
Yeah.
And that, that's some amazing stuff that you can see. But I love it when there's a real live human being on the attraction vehicle with you, or maybe even part of the set, like in Terminator 2 3D.
Yeah.
It's just amazing because it gives you, just something that it's a little more immersive, I think, and it's a little more real. But the only downside of that, and anybody who's out there who's listening who is an actor knows that, if you're not giving your best show, it kind of makes the attraction falter a little bit.
Yeah.
So the only problem with that is an attraction could be great, but if you don't have a great actor who's working with it, that can kind of make it go from an A to maybe even a C.
Now, your wife would be the best person to talk to like that, because she was a skipper on Disney World's Jungle Cruise, wasn't she?
That's right, and she had to go through extensive training and auditions and things like that, because they don't just put anybody on there.
No.
You have to prove that you are somebody who can, say that jungle spiel, dozens of times a day. And that's something that can get exhausting because you're on your feet, you're on a boat that's rocking back and forth. You really have to be...
You're in the Florida heat.
In the heat, too. That's another thing. You're in the Florida heat, sometimes reaching over 100, degrees, and big flannel outfits and stuff with big hats on. So I'd always be amazed when I'd go and watch her just to see that she was, dedicated enough to do that, but also would give a great show every single time.
Yeah.
And anybody who's out there who's listening who's an actor knows that, there's sometimes you don't feel like, saying your lines and don't feel like being under the hot lights, but you've just got to do it.
Or if you're a podcast presenter, you don't feel like doing it sometimes, but you have to.
That's right, because you know what? The day comes around, whatever day that you always post, there's always a show that needs to get up, because if it doesn't get up, you're going to have your listeners angry at you.
So you've had your rides, you've had your parades, you've gone to the restaurants, you've seen the theming there. But then in the evening you have fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Disney, going back to Disney, they have a very, very fantastic show at both Disneyland and Disney World, Disneyland being in California, Disney World being in Florida, a sort of vast theatrical experience called Fantasmic.
I love that show because it really is, it's musical theater. I mean, it's not in a traditional theater itself. It's not, a traditional stage. It blends, some of the great music from Fantasia, blends great fireworks and
lasers and effects.
Yeah, water effects, all different types of stuff. And of course, it has Mickey Mouse, who is everybody's favorite. Who doesn't want to see Mickey Mouse slaying a dragon? But even though it's not, technically it's not like Wicked or Phantom of the Opera or anything like that, as we talk about musical theater, but it really is a great theatrical experience that you can't find anywhere else.
No.
And that's why I love shows like that, and I'm so glad that Disney does that. And it really is part of the grand tradition of like nighttime spectaculars at all of the Disney parks, and even Universal's getting into the act now.
Yeah.
They have their Cinesphere, I believe it's called. That is the great way to not only keep people in the theme parks, till, closing time, but it leaves them feeling a certain emotion, I think, which is great. You've got at Epcot Center, they have a wonderful fireworks display illuminations at night, and that's one of the best things I've ever seen because it really makes you feel certain emotions that make you want to come back to Epcot. And that's why I find it hilarious that even if Epcot isn't crowded throughout the day, it always seems to get crowded around 8 or 8:30 as people get ready for illumination.
All right, Mike, thank you very, very much for taking time out to speak to us. It's been very enlightening, sort of blending these two marvelous entertainment worlds together.
Oh, yeah, and congratulations on your new podcast. I'm really excited about it. I've listened to a bunch. I've listened to the interview with Stephen Schwartz. So fantastic that you're getting all of these big guests who have come on. And,
well, now we've had our best guest ever.
Oh, I wish, but I know you've gotten some names that I've actually seen on stage and stuff, so I'm going to keep listening.
That's very, very nice of you, Mike.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you very much. Take care.
You too.
Thank you very much to Mike Collins from the, now sadly, Coast Radio has ended. So sort of for the fans of that show, I'm sure they'll listen to this so they can get their one last injection of Mike Collins into their bloodstream. So, I mean, what did you think of what he was saying? Do you think...
Yeah, well, I agree with a lot of it, yeah. I agree with most of it, in fact. There is a strong link between theatre and that's the whole point. That's why you go to Disney, and that's why you go to MGM Studios and Universal Studios and what have you.
Did you ever go on the MGM movie ride?
I might have done. I can't remember.
It's this ride where you're sitting and there's an actor with you for the whole duration of the ride, and they recreate a lot of musicals actually. They have with animatronics.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. And then you go into a thing and they show you all the burning and the water comes down and everything.
No, that's a backlot tour, which is different.
That's really cool.
But this is it's an indoor ride where they take you through the history of the movies, and they recreate every single famous movie scene you can think of with puppets. But there's a bit where, I mean, and you have an actor in your car with you, talking to you and interacting with you. But there's also a bit where the ride comes to a stop, and they have actors on a set, and they have a shootout.
Oh, cool. Oh, I remember. Yeah,
and one person, and there's a great illusion at the end, and so that's real theatre. The fact that theme parks are now not just you go and sit on a ride and you get spun around and you get sick. So.
You might.
If you like that sort of thing. I know I don't get sick. You knew about the Beauty and the Beast thing.
Yes, I went up the only time I've been to the Disney in Florida was at the time Beauty and the Beast was released. And I remember it was the time Beauty and the Beast was released because I saw the show at Disney, or it was on. I'm pretty sure I saw it. I was so young, but I think I was about 12. Yeah, no, I did see it. And then also we had these hand puppets that we got given free when we went to see it. You got given these little hand, and I had a Beast. My sister got a little bell. It's like on your hat, it's like plastic puppets you put on your hand. And then my little cousin got given a Cogsworth, and she was really jealous because she didn't get a bell.
Aww.
And
Cogsworth is sort of cool.
He's a cool character. Anyway, Aladdin, I'm amazed actually because I know that they were doing that they put Aladdin on in America, but when I spoke to the head of Disney Theatrical, just name dropping here, I was in a pub in Nottingham, and
does he share the name of a famous race car driver?
I think he does. Yeah,
Schumacher.
Yeah, I can't remember his name actually.
Peter Schumacher.
Is that his name? I can't remember.
Disney guy is Peter Schumacher.
Right.
The car guy is Michael Schumacher.
And Ralph Schumacher.
Oh, okay. So maybe they're all brothers.
Maybe. Anyway,
bit of a career change for the third one.
We were chatting to him, and he was like, he stuck the Disney credit card behind the bar, and we all had a drink, the whole cast. Yeah. And I was chatting to him, and our resident director said to him, "Oh, I think Aladdin would be a really good stage musical."
Yeah, obviously.
And he went, "Yeah, we've done it in California. We're doing it in California, but we can't put it on stage because we don't think it'll work because of the whole 9/11 war on terror, like Eastern."
I think in New York it would have a very sort of different ethos, a different reaction than it would in California. And the fact that it's in California, it's free, sort of inverted commas.
Yeah, you go to the park.
Yeah, and I think if you were to stage it in New York, it'd be very risky, charging people $110 a ticket.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would go and see it because I love it. But then you have a lot of people that would go, oh, I'm not going to go and see anything that's based anywhere near Iraq, and it's,
it's based in a land far away, which just happens to have Arabic music. But
well, it's supposed to be Baghdad, isn't it? That's the whole point. It's supposed to be. They call it something, and it's supposed to be based in Baghdad, which is of course.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe in a couple of years it'll happen, but I mean,
I hope so because I love Aladdin. It's one of my favourites.
the stage show is very good, and Adam Menken wrote a new song for the theme park production.
Cool.
And so on with what Andy was going to talk about his new singing technique. That
Well,
he-
it's not really as much of a technique. It's more of the science behind singing. I mean, I've kind of looked into it a little bit anyway, and I've never actually had a teacher that's sat down and I've never had. In fact, I had my singing lesson yesterday. I've never had a singing lesson where I've done so little singing. We just talked. She basically explained the whole anatomy to me and what everything does inside. You know, because when you learn to sing, they just kind of go, right, this is your breathing, this is what you're doing here, this is where you've got to place the sound, and they give you sort of visual images and things. And then you start to learn a bit of a still, and I delved into it now, you know, and sort of learnt a bit more. If you're interested, you know, you should definitely look it up and sort of buy a book. It's well worth.
We'll put a link onto the site.
Yeah.
about-
If you're a professional singer,
What's
or
the
you're-
technique called?
It's a still.
Right.
It's called a still technique. It's not so much of a technique as
Sorry,
a,
the practice.
as a
called.
practice. Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't. It's very complicated. If you just read it and sort of go, oh my god, you know what's you'll kind of go, what the hell is this all about? But it's more of like, it depends how you like to learn things. I mean, if you like to learn things visually, like me, or you know, physically. I mean, I'm you know, unfortunately, I'm a stereotypical man where I'm not very good at anything academic. So, or do you know what I mean?
Or anything at
I
all.
use the right side of my brain when I'm
Yeah.
learning things. If you enjoy more learning things more academically and like reading about it and then putting it into practice, it's a very good way to learn. But it also helps if you are a more practical person because.
So what kind of stuff does it help you understand with as regards practical singing techniques?
Well, it helps you understand the anatomy. It helps you understand why when someone says to you, "Oh, make it a rounder sound, make the sound more resonant, make the sound this," you know what your anatomy is doing. I mean, you know, some people just, you know, when they're singing they retract, or when they're singing they tilt naturally, which is two terms that, you know. And they don't even realise they're doing it. But some people, it helps them to understand why it's better for your throat to do these certain things. It's I can't really go into great detail because it's very complicated.
Yeah.
So if you're a singer and you know you probably know a little bit about it anyway, and if you're going into singing, it's a good idea to sort of buy a book or find a still teacher. You know, if you look in your local directory, they usually put on there a still. Do they teach? Or you can phone your singing teacher. Do you teach a still? And even if they just give you like, you know, half an hour of just explaining what a still is and the basics of it, I guarantee you'll be able to find a better sound within your voice.
Maybe I should do it because my singing is absolutely atrocious.
I think you just need to learn how to do the basics first. Nick.
No, thank you very
I'm
much.
only kidding.
The sad thing is, I actually learnt how to do the basics. I had singing lessons for 5 years.
I'm only joking. You've not got a bad voice.
I've got a terrible voice. So I saw Cabaret last week. This week actually. I saw it day before yesterday at the Lyric Theatre in Theatreland, starring James Dreyfus, who's a very famous British. Would you say he's a comedy actor?
Yeah, comedy. So he does TV stuff usually, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Gimme, 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 The Thin Blue Line.
Very famous British sitcoms, and
Yeah.
so they're very famous for playing very effeminate and openly gay characters in these two sitcoms.
He was in the original cast of the show I'm in now. The producers, he did the Carmen Gia plot.
Yeah. In London, and I would like to see him because apparently he was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I saw him in Cabaret, and it was a very, very symbolic production. It was very dark, and it had full frontal nudity on stage.
Bargain.
But the nudity was not done in a smutty, look at us, we're in a sex cabaret way. It was done in a symbolic way of, apparently in the 1930s in Germany, there was a movement of German sort of freedom expression through nudity. I don't know if you know.
No, I don't know.
that. And there was also, in the end, all the cast ripped their clothes off and sort of stand with their back to the audience with a backlight up against them, huddled up in a sort of very macabre way. And that was meant to symbolise the gassing in the concentration camps when they all stripped of their clothes and just killed. Because the Nazis take over the cabaret in the end of the play. I know it's very grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Nazis take over the cabaret at the end of the musical, and this was done in a very powerful way. They had cabaret, the word, spelt in sort of oversized letters on the stage, freestanding letters, and it was spelled with a K, which was interesting, which was the original German spelling, isn't it, of cabaret?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you spell cabaret in German.
They knocked every single letter down. They went T-E, was it R-E-B, left the A standing, and then went A-B-A-K. So that's cabaret backwards, I think. You'll have to check me on that. But so they left the A standing, and me and my fellow classmates, uni mates, came...
Uni mates.
He tells me off for saying, school.
I'm going to school tomorrow.
I go to school. I don't know why I sound like the Queen there.
So you are a queen, I don't know, the queen.
That was meant to symbolise the sort of fact that the Auschwitz is still standing and will remain standing. So the A, or a deformed Star of David, sort of a broken segment of that. If that's another way you want to look at the A, is one of the bits of the Star of David. So that's another way of looking at that show, and it was a very, very good show.
We had a show stop last night.
Really, what happened?
Yeah, it's quite funny actually.
Well, of course, it's producers. So.
We were just after he goes, I want that money, da, 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 and he finishes with his face covered in the spotlight, and the accountant's trucks went to come on. The music dun 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 happened, and we just didn't truck on. The truck just skipped out of its thing, and the mouse went on, which is the little thing that takes you on.
Yeah.
But we didn't go on with it, so we had to stop the show, and the curtain came in, and Max, bless him, Corey, didn't move, just sat there with his hand over his face, and he's like, his baby's due any day now. I will give you an
Cool.
We'll give you an update when it's born. Literally every time he comes off stage, he's like, checking his phone. He's like, it's due, like I think in the next 2 weeks, and then but we've all put I think I've said it's going to be 2 weeks late, 2 weeks overdue. 2 weeks.
You're betting money on this, are you?
No, we should do. We were saying we should have a sweepstake. They were going to have a sweepstake of when I fall over on my front somersault, because about once every, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 shows, something like that, I land on my feet and then either fall back or fall forward or have a little trip. And the
first time I saw Andy on stage, that happened.
Did I fall over that time? It was awful.
Do you remember your shoe flew off or your handbag flew off?
It was my handbag. That was funny. I didn't fall over though; just my handbag went flying. But no, if I ever fall over, they said they're going to start a sweepstake where each day someone puts £1 in, and then the day I do it, that person gets all the money.
Nice to know they trust their cars.
Yeah, right. But anyway, this show stopped, so it stopped, and then like 5 minutes later we went back up again, and we just went from the start of the accountancy. But Corey, bless him, is still sitting there on his knees with his hands over his face. When the curtain went out,
He probably didn't know.
he was just sitting the whole time. When the curtain went out, the audience started laughing because he was in the same position. He didn't.
You can tell he was there just checking his phone, and having a phone call to his wife.
But then the best part, when Reese came on, the next part, Reese Shearsmith, who plays Leo Bloom, came on, and he went, Bloom, you're 6 minutes late, and he went, sorry sir, we're having technical difficulties with the set. It was really funny.
Did the audience...
We got a cheer, actually.
Good. Very good.
It's very funny.
Kind of makes you wish in comedies they had more faults, because it was
it happens. Well, those two corpse all the time. It's so funny because the trouble is because
corpsing is when you break into
I corpsed last night.
Oh, it's when you break out of character. Well,
I only have to do 2 lines in the whole show, and I corpsed on my first one. Basically, someone broke wind right before you were going on in the wings. Somebody had a bit of a comedy, moment of flatulence, and we started laughing in the wings. And then I went, that's disgusting. That was very good though. I can't say flatulence is disgusting because I'm the worst for it. We were in the wings and there was a comedy moment, and anyway we went on and I come forward to say my line, and I say it to the guy called Hadrian, and he just turns around to me while I'm saying my line, and he just goes like sniffs around him like there's a funny smell.
Was it yours?
No, it wasn't me. I wasn't the one that did it. It was I don't know who it was now. And I just went. I was going, hey Sarge, look at this, just giggling away. So obvious. I was just smirking, and I kept it together. I didn't actually.
I think it's different if you're doing the producers and if you were doing maybe a
cabaret, yeah.
no, I mean cabaret, or maybe Chekhov. It was a very serious playwright, and of course the funny line in Family Guy is Peter Griffin is watching a Chekhov play, and they're sort of going, they're sort of on stage saying, I must take out my life insurance on you. And Peter's like, oh, for God's sake, someone throw a pie.
I like it when he's sitting in front of the front row of Phantom of the Opera, and he's like, and there's a Phantom giving, I give you the gift of music, and all this, and he just goes, just take the mask off. It better be really hideous under there.
Brilliant. Our request for an interview with Seth MacFarlane is still with the Fox offices, so they haven't got back to us yet. But they will do. They will do. I know they will because my glass is half full.
Yes.
Borat, very, very funny movie, and it really shows how brave Sacha
Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen is to be able to go to these very high up people and quite dangerous situations if you think about it.
Yeah.
And just literally go nuts.
Yeah, just brilliant. I mean,
Go and see the movie, ladies and gentlemen.
There's one scene in the movie when he's sitting around the dinner table and they're having dinner and he's learning dinner etiquette, like table manners. And as soon as that scene comes on, just prepare yourself just to laugh and laugh and laugh. I swear.
The movie starts, prepare yourself to laugh.
Oh my god, that was my favourite bit in the film. Then when he went round to have the dinner with and the priest was there. Oh my god!
And his special friend appears.
So funny. Oh my god! But two of the people in the movie are going to sue him apparently.
Yeah.
The
teenage frat boys.
Teenage frat boys are going to sue him. Yeah.
They probably think they can make money out of him, but
not being funny, but they said it. They said the stupid things. They've laid their. Anyway, is there anything else you want to talk about?
We're going to start doing our own audio commentaries for musicals.
We are, yes.
Which we'll release.
This is another genius idea, but most of the ideas are on the website and on the forums and on the only idea I come up with is the Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
No one's playing it apart from you and me. But, I think there's another one on there.
Other people are. So please make your way to the forums and post, because we do take notice and we do listen to you, and if we like you, we'll.
Oh, he's stretching now. Hello, Freddy, you're really cute. Sorry. Oh, I've had a cat sit next to me the whole time, and he's been really, really lovely.
Yeah. Look at the pictures on the website. We'll post them.
He
up.
just sleeps, doesn't he? All the time. It's lovely.
It's wonderful. Apparently they sleep 25 hours a day. What's that thing you're saying about statistics?
Statistics. 72% of statistics are made up.
Okay. Last time you said it was 72.5.
I know. I just make a random.
If you buy any classic movie on musical on DVD, looking at my collection, now like Gypsy, Thoroughly Modern Millie, Hello Dolly.
You could even do the producers.
Sweet Charity. Yeah,
I'd be good at that one.
Sweet Charity.
Beauty and the Beast. I'd be good at that one too.
There are no commentaries on them. Of course, the modern ones do, but the classic ones don't. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing our own commentaries, maybe in the off season, whenever we decide that to be, and we'll release them. Maybe once every couple of weeks for you to play along with the movie. Of course, when you download them, there'll be no movie soundtrack. It'll just be us talking, and you play it along with the movie, and it should line up quite well. And so, if you have any movie requests you want us to natter about. And next week we have Stephanie J. Block on the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be doing that interview in a couple of hours, which I'm very much looking forward to. So we're going to be...
Go to her website. Her website's amazing.
Yeah.
I really want to get a Blockhead T-shirt to wear in rehearsals. Just, do you know what? If I ever do a show with her, or if I ever end up in or meeting her, I'm so going to have to wear a Blockhead T-shirt. She's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard her, you can go to her website and listen to some...
We'll probably play... I mean, we'll ask if we can play one of her songs.
One of her songs is
just
just amazing. But there's one song on there from Once on This Island...
the Flatty and Orange musical, based on The Tempest.
I think it's The Tempest, yeah. Anyway, and it's called Waiting for Life to Begin, and there's her doing like a live version of it on her website you can listen to, and I've actually put it on my.
So that's next week, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what the topic will be for next week, but I'm sure we'll pull something out of our hat.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. That's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Musical Talk. We'll see you next time.
I'm in Burger King, and Andrew Lloyd Webber comes in. Sir Lloyd Webber, whatever his title is now.
Lord Lloyd Webber.
Lord Lloyd Webber comes in, and he's in the queue next to me, and he says to the lady, "Hi there, can I have 2 Whoppers, please?" And I said, "All right, you're good looking, and your musicals are great."
Good night.